Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of Bahia by Barbosa. If you like this series, please leave your like here at the beginning of the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And if you have the option to hype, the video will really help the channel and will help YouTube understand that the videos here are cool and relevant. And it can bring more people to move here to Bahia de Barbosa. So I really count on your help. In fact, without you, this channel would be nothing. Anyway, we're taking a tour over the city of Ingleses here. And this will be the first episode where the newly released Bridging Port's downloadable content will be included in the save. So we have several small projects to be done, and we'll do them according to time and need. Well, the first thing to notice here is the demand, right? It turned out really weird, didn't it? Given the last few episodes where we had very little or no demand for commerce, right? And now our commercial demand is quite high. And here it says that there is local demand and taxes are contributing. And what's lowering it a bit are the vacant buildings. So there must still be a little bit of vacant commercial property out there. Well, the unemployment rate is making our commercial demand drop, right? After all, we've already experienced several episodes of unemployment among the population. Look, we've already lowered it. It reached 40% now, it's at 20%. So that's why industrial demand is still pretty high. Well, one of the problems I wanted to solve is this right here, see? This part is bottlenecked, okay? With traffic, a lot of people trying to get there, right? And then turn here to the left. And man, this is for a very specific reason, see? Over here, we also have a line of buses, right? They're piling up because there are a lot of people wanting to get in here too. And the reason for that is this charging station that we put here to serve the city, right? And we made this access, right? This street here for easier access. It's meant to help people coming from the road enter, but it isn't working well, is it? Even on this other side here, look, everything is kind of stuck too. See, everything is kind of stopped. A lot of people already wanting to come in here to access the loading station, and the demand for vehicles is huge, really huge. And, well, I think we can use some mechanics from bridging ports here so we can, I don't know, make a dry port, right? Now we have the possibility to make a dry port. I didn't really understand how this is going to work because, well, it asks for water here, right? At the cargo port, but I think we can do it, right? From what I tested in the downloadable content with the upgrades to these port complexes here, let's just see if this would work. We can place the yards and all, but I wanted to see the connection with trains. Here, look, intermodal train terminal. So, in a way, I think it would work. Okay, so let's go ahead and build this dry port here. Well, I'm going to delete this cargo station here. It only has an exit on one side. This really bothers me. And man, I'm also going to remove this access ramp I made here so we can free up some space. This extra one here, maybe it could even stay on this branch of the train track here so we can use it in this dry port. And the one that could be excluded would be this one, okay? Because this ramp here was, until now, the only way for those coming from the tunnel to keep going, right, to the other side. And since we're going to make exits to both sides here, maybe we won't even need this other ramp. And we actually gained from it space here to work, okay? And look at how many trucks were here wanting to load and unload at the terminal. And man, it's really over the top, right? Really over the top. Look at all these trucks, man. But anyway, I'm actually thinking about not connecting the city, you know, these neighborhood streets with this dry port, actually just connecting it with this road. Maybe I'll even make some kind of back exit here, but the main entrance would be here with the road, okay? So since I'm going to remodel everything here, look, I'm also going to remove this part of the road here, okay? I'm going to hit play so these people leave, right? Clear up some space for us to see. Actually, I think I'm also going to restructure this track here. Look, I'm going to delete it completely and reorganize everything here. I think I'm also going to remove this neighborhood here to make something decent and nice here, right? Well done. Even this school here, this isn't a school, it's a social security office. I'll move it a little more to the side because I think I'm already going to start leaving the avenue on a curve instead of a straight line, right? So we can already leave it more aligned with the road, so I'll move back here and continue the road with a curve. I think that's it. Like this, it's okay. Actually, I'm going to separate the two lanes, right? Both going and both coming back on 2 lanes. I think this way it'll make it easier for me to make the accesses. All right, look, is it gonna be like this, man? I think maybe a small port complex would solve this issue here, right? The entrance is small, right? I think the medium entrance is already kind of big, so I'll put a small entrance, more or less here. But there's only 1 lane here, right? For the entrance. Okay, I'll put the medium one. Let's try to make this space occupation here look nice. Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull 2 lanes out here and pull 2 lanes in here, right? The lanes here. Look, on this road, they're going to be much easier to connect, right? Because after all, they're right here next to each other. Now, from this other road here, see? It's going to be a little more complicated because we're going to have to build an overpass. An overpass going from here to here and another overpass starting here, looping around and coming here. Actually, the opposite. One going from here to here and one going from here to here, right? Let's go. I think we can already build an overpass here, 7.5 meters, and I'll try to leave it here. Here. Look, well, it's symmetrical, right? Not exactly perfectly symmetrical, but following here, more or less the same curve angles. All right, this part looks good. Now I just need to move it over there. And I think it will have to be underground so it doesn't get too high and there's not much space here for a ramp to go down. Well, after some hard work here with tunnel bugs as always, we managed to get a satisfactory result. Well, I was also thinking that our entrance, right here, see? That a lot of people are arriving here at this intersection and taking this avenue, which isn't an expressway, right? It's an avenue, and to access here, it's really big, right? So, man, can you believe I even thought about putting a big overpass here, like an elevated road, and making a direct access to here, right? But it feels kind of sad, right? Because the landscaping here is so nice. It's such a cute avenue. It would really degrade the city. What I thought about doing was taking this exit here and making a little road, like a small mountain road around here. I don't even know if it would work because you have to check the slope here, right? And make an access here. Hey there, buddy. You access the cargo area here, right? Back here, I think it would be better than making a big tunnel through here, right? An overpass here anyway, degrading the city. Well, let's see, right? If it's feasible to do something like that right here, close to the train tracks, and try to go along here. Look, this terrain, not much gain in height nor any drops, right? So it would be a passage, look, through here, like this. Here at this point where you have to go up, that's where it would get complicated, right? How would I make up for this difference here of, I don't know, a good few meters in height? Maybe I should start climbing from here already, look. So, a gain of 5% too? That's not much. Look, I brought this road up to here. Here, man, you can make a simple access here. Look, and you can make a turn down here and make another simple access here. And I was even analyzing it. I think this road could even be one way, right? For the people who are here to access here, so it would just be going up because it doesn't really make sense for it to be going down since it's to access the cargo terminal here, right? What if the guy wants the cargo terminal? He gets out here at this intersection, right? Then comes here, no need to go all the way around. So I don't know if it would make much sense to have this road going down as well, or what purpose it would serve going down. It would be for the guy to get out of the expressway here and access this part of the city, right? Or even go to New York City. Here, look, our American cities, because he would already end up at this intersection. And my fear is that this will get super crowded because there's a lot more structure. Look, you come around here, take this intersection, and then access here, okay? Anyway, life's dilemmas. I'm going to make it for both directions. And if there's too much traffic, I'll leave it one way only. Well, I'm going to plan this out a little more so we can get to work. This access back here, like this, do you think this would look good? There's only one way to find out. Well, the turn is done here. Yeah, there's a ramp. Actually, no, it's not good here, is it? Here there's a drop that you have to go up afterwards. It would be more interesting if this knot here was at the same height as that knot over there. And then, look, we get a much more interesting slope, right? Just this column here in the middle, it could be a little more over here. All right? Then I make another access here on the other side too. Man, if this wasn't such a high cliff here, I would still make an extension from here, straight over there. But then, man, I think it wouldn't look very fitting. It would be a bit too surreal. Although China does stuff like that, right? But I prefer to be more conservative. And maybe just open up one more lane here, so one of them can access here directly. All right, I think it's finished. Only one access will be missing. That's one I said isn't really needed. It's for the guy to leave here and take the small road down, right? Me? He doesn't have access to that, and I'm not even going to do it. Well, that's how it's going to be, right? I also applied the lane math here. And now the only thing left is this lower part, which is what I'm really interested in. If it went straight here, I don't think it would even connect with this street. So, in that case, I would remove this roundabout. I would also echo here, I think even up to here as well, and it would go underneath here, underneath the train tracks too. Now I also have to redo the entire height here of the train track, so that this passage down here, right, is actually passable, right? And all right, this is how our passage turned out here. Look underneath with a nice little barrier, a containment here. I think we could even extend it a little more over here. But now I'm taking a look at this intersection here, and there are a lot of people turning right to exit here on this side, right? And from here, man, access this intersection. And what makes me think that if we had access through this road, it could be easier too. So, man, I don't see a practical way here to connect this road to that one. Unless it's a roundabout here, a U-turn, I don't know, opening another lane here and making an entrance from this side. Let's see if that would work, right? Look, I made a U-turn down here and it would connect here. Look, in this lane addition here, look, that we made. Look, it would be like this. Look, this turn. Man, it's really hard to build on terrain like this, okay? It's really hard. Whoever tried knows it, but I think it's also because of the challenge, right? That's what makes the series attractive. Man, I think there's nothing else to do here. I tried to adjust the terrain as much as we could, and I think it's okay, all right? There are big walls here, but it's just a slope starting, right? Not much to do. Here, there's the road passing through down here. And anyway, that's it, right? One more lane here, then the two merge. This connection ended up like this. We really managed to make an intersection here on this land. Very, very difficult to work with, you know? And people are already using these crossings here, right? Let's see if it eases things up here too. And then we have to make our dry port come back here to it, right? A logistics episode goes like this. You start one task, it leads to another, and soon you're trapped in a black hole with no escape. Well, let's start drawing this dry port here then. Basically, right? I think it's going to come in here, make a turn. And I'm even thinking about making a passage to this other side. And we can use this part over here, which is for the train, right? For the train tracks. Well, since the track is kind of elevated, I was thinking about making something kind of elevated here too. The height here is 35.7. I would raise it, I don't know, about 10 meters here, and we would work in this space right here. I think a little containment barrier here would help with the aesthetics, right? And here I would keep it smooth, right? In the part where the train exits, right? Where the train enters here, you can smooth it out too. All right, look, there's a big block here on one side and a big block here on the other, right? And here the ramps are really smooth for us to work on. That's what I would do, right? A street here going back and a street here, look, coming in. So, man, I was seeing here that I need to unlock the buildings here, right? And then I need to have goods transported by ship. In other words, I first need to have a wet port, right, on the sea, so I can have a dry port later, because everything is locked, and I think it's kind of lame. Let's try to use find it to filter here, see, to be able to use things. Like the train terminal, right, that we really want to have, right? After all, the reason for all this construction is this right here. And man, look, it fits perfectly in the space we left, huh? And then I'll have, right, an overpass around here, like this, more or less, to connect with the entrance and exit over there at the port, then making the connection here from the overpass to the train track access points. Nice, both with Move It and here with the lane connector. And then here, I need to take these two streets here, see, and bring them over here. I'll even put a parallel here to do both at once. Man, something like this. Make a straight line here and then curve it over here. See, this looks kind of weird. But let's go. Let's see how this final result will turn out. I'll leave this bridge here. Actually, it's an overpass. Lowered and connect the accesses here. All right, it turned out like this. Small layout. The main roads here for entry and exit and access to the overpass are here. Guys, I let the game run for a while, okay? And man, is there something weird this episode? Here? I focused more on solving the infrastructure problems here, right?
Our cargo terminal, dry port anyway.
That installation annex we had here from downloadable content bridge imports. It basically didn't receive trucks. After I saw what was running on those streets from the port downloadable content, which are these here, right? They're forklifts, okay? So it didn't serve the purpose we wanted here with the trucks, collecting products from factories and distributing them across the city. But that's not the only thing. It's weird. It's here. Everything's fine here in this part of the station. Everything's okay, but the frames per second is really low. I don't know if you guys can notice it, but look at this, man. It's really low. Anyway, another thing. We've never had traffic problems here at this entrance. Never. And now, suddenly everyone wants to come in through here, right? This has never been blocked. This has never been a problem. And people want to access the city. Most of them want to turn left here, right? Look at this, man. Look at this. It's really weird. This has never happened before, okay? Look, over here, the problems continue, okay? They're still here, see? Look at the line of vehicles we have. And there's a reason, right? I mean, there's an accident here. A bit further ahead, we have a new line. And there's a reason for that? No, look what's here, man. It's a truck bed stopped and the cars. Nobody wants to move. Simply, it's weird here. Do you understand the message I'm trying to get across? I'm going to remove this truck bed, this guy who was here. Then things will start to flow. But look how slow it is to process the game, okay? I'm gonna set it to speed 3. This is the current speed 3 of the game. Look at this. I mean, basically, it's better to leave it at speed 1, right? That way you get more frames per second, right? And since it's stuck here, a lot of people came this way. It got stuck here, right? Everything's jammed up. Look, everything's extremely stuck, our Eastern European village. It didn't have traffic problems before. Now it does, along with the flooding. Now it's really jammed up. Look at this. This wasn't here before. I don't know why, but out of nowhere, the game decided, dude, look at this. The game decided. Spawning people, spawning vehicles, spawning everything. And then there's a reason. No, there's not. What's causing this traffic to stop? Nothing. Here's another example. Look, this intersection, there's this road that used to be an avenue down here. I even turned it into a highway, okay? And now it's having traffic problems, but what's happening? Nothing, you see? Traffic, 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 traffic. Then we come over here, traffic problem. Is there anything stopping here? No, this road here, it's completely clear, but this one here, it's totally jammed. Look at all the cars. Man, I don't understand what's going on. but I suspect it might be some imbalance from a modification I might have been using. And I don't know, it broke or it's not recalculating right correctly as it should. But basically, roads that never had any sign of traffic jams are having them now, right? Here, look, okay? And then, honestly, I don't know what to do. Our road here, which serves the industrial district, is the only one that's more or less okay, right? There are no notifications. The rest of the city is blocked. Let's check the German city. Look here, this used to be empty, this road, right? And now, suddenly, look at that, everything's blocked. And what's the reason it's blocked? I don't know. Everyone wants to get in, and here it's a free lane. This way, free lane, I don't know, so it's weird, right? It's kind of weird, right? Here at the entrance to the German city, too. There have been traffic problems here before, okay? But there have been several episodes. We had already fixed this, right? Before I finished this city, actually. So, the reason? A traffic light, okay? It's a traffic light. And anyway, here, look, our port, our cargo terminal is packed. Man, full of trucks, right here. From here all the way down there, it's full of trucks. No need for this because we set up several loading stations throughout the map. These things are a bit discouraging, okay? And combined with this really low frames per second, man, it's really discouraging. Now it's 8:30 at night. I've been recording since 2 in the afternoon, and we've made very little progress. And I get upset because I wanted to deliver a complete episode for you guys, but I don't know. I wasted time trying to figure out what it was, trying to run tests, leaving the game running here at 0.2 speed, which is what's running on my computer right now. Anyway, this is my list of mods, okay? I'll show it here so you can take a look. And you guys commented on this video if anyone had any problems, if you suspect it might be a mod, okay? Because I'm finding it really strange, okay? If you compare the last episode to this one. But anyway, I'm going to build the subway here in New York City, right? Which I promised you guys in the last episode, and I'm going to end this episode by keeping my promise. But anyway, let's go. Here at our train station, look at that lag. Here at our train station we have, integrated subway improvements, so we can have a train station right here. And that's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm going to put this subway here, add other stations so we can already distribute this network. Look, here we'll have the station, and then I want to put one down here, maybe on this street, right here between the buildings. Well, I'm going to remove one of these 2 buildings here because they're repeated, so I'll put a station here. And I'm thinking about making a line up to here. Look, from here, we're going to have a ferry port. It's here. No, it's here. Look, in this little spot here, a ferry port. And my intention was to connect, this ferry port with a station as well. So maybe even leaving it a little more to this side here, huh? And already making easy access here, since we don't have a subway connection with the ferry terminal. At least not yet. So, alright, one station here, another here, and there. I think I'll put one more here, I don't know. One here and one to finish at the stadium. I think that works, right? So, I think this little corner here would be really good for a station, and then we could finish here. We have to be careful because there's a tunnel here, right? The tunnel for our cars that travel from one side to the other here. In fact, you can see it now. Look, a lot of cars passing by here, and it's really congested, okay? Apparently, it's fine. No problem. Look, we come up front and there's nothing, okay? It's just their indecision about changing lanes at the last minute. I'll put this station next to the stadium. This seems like a good spot. Let's see. It's kind of hidden here, isn't it? But I'm going to try to move it here. Look, with move it. And alright, I'll leave this terminal here. So we'll have this line come out here and go over there, forming this U shape, right? Actually, the original idea was to make a north-south line and another one more east-west, right? Maybe we could have a station here. Look, that would connect with this one here. Here, see? Let me place it here. We have some parking lots, right? I'll open the image and set it in this corner so you can get your bearings. We have time to make this turn, right? Don't put it too close or I won't be able to turn. So I'll remove this parking lot here and put this station. Alright, then I'll put a station right here in the park as well. Man, I really wanted it to be inside the park already. But it's going to be a bit bad because it ends up like this. It doesn't stay horizontal. It ends up vertical when I put it here inside the park. And maybe if I rotated it, it would complain here about the road. Yeah, exactly, but there's a position here where it doesn't complain about road access. Look, here it's not complaining, so I'll leave it like this and remove these trees here. And we also get a station, well, right here inside the park, right? All right, and from here, I'll place it, right? Next, a station a little closer to here. Man, there's a bus terminal here, right? It would be really interesting for us to put a station right here to serve this bus terminal. There's a bunch of people standing here. What's here? There's not even a bus line that passes here. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove this little fence and I'm going to use this space exactly to put the station. Ah, it's a bit crooked, isn't it? Things are stacked up. Maybe moving it here will fix it. It fixes it, but it doesn't look good here, see? Only if I move it a little more this way, then it's fine. I just don't understand why these people are standing here. Okay, should I try to remove this parking spot? No, I can't remove it. Yeah, I think it's just gonna have to stay here. Yeah, leave the station there, the bus terminal. And man, from here, I would bring the station, one last station here to the suburbs. I think that would be just the right size. All right, then we can start the excavation. Run this tunnel boring machine through here, check it out, and already make the route for the first line. Starting here and going, oh shoot, all the way to the bus station, which is across. Wait, I'll have to erase this here. And maybe move this station a little bit closer over here. Help me out. Okay, now we can really make a better route, right? So here's the first connection, then we'll bring it over here. So you have to make a little curve here, and then another little curve over here. Then we make this S shape. Actually, I think that would be better. Look, I'm going to change the plans. Instead of this tunnel here, I think I'm going to take this one, make a point here, make a curve, and take this line all the way to the park here. This one here, actually, will be our east-west, and then I'll make a north-south line starting from here. Look, from Lower Manhattan. So these two stations will be really close, right? I don't think that's a problem. Wow, they're going to be really close. The downside of building several cities on the same map is that the cities themselves end up being small, right? To fit several of them. And then the subway doesn't work very well, you see? Everything gets kind of cramped with not enough space. So look, I'm going to bring this tunnel over here now, and from here, finally I'll connect it. Oh shoot, there's a train track here too. But I think here the subway will be lower, so it won't be as problematic, right? Look, I think it goes underneath, so no problem. So, all right, we have it here, look, from west to east, okay? Now I'm gonna do it from north to south, but we're going to need to add more stations. So, you mean taking it from the southern tip all the way north, right? So, it's gonna be from this station, we can put one here. Look, that's great. It turned out badly since it's in the middle of the building, right? We're going to have to, unfortunately, change the buildings here. That's not a problem. All right, I checked with the station, and now let's keep pulling. Look, up north. I think we can make one last stop right here in the middle of the suburb. Maybe here on the avenue, where there are shops, it could be interesting. I'm going to place the station right here. And now I just need to connect the tunnels. Will this subway, this public transportation here, be able to handle it? Or at least help reduce the city's traffic a little? Let's see, right? From here, we head south and we have, look, this platform here that's going to conflict with this station. But we're going to go down a bit too. Not much, because 5 meters here is enough. There's no need to go down more. The problem is the ramp here, right? We have to go up and down right after this. Look, let's see if we can get 32.5 meters here. Actually, these two stations here were supposed to be a single station, right? One more. But the game still doesn't have this type of station yet, unfortunately. And on top, does it go over? Is it on top or underneath? Actually, I can't do it at all. All that's left is this subway extension here. Now it just needs to be for the train, but I can't do it. Look, even if I tried to do it the other way, it won't let me. It's saying the shape is invalid. And I don't know why that is. Look, a little symbol shows up here. What do you think that means? I don't know, but it won't let me. I can't do it. But to this side, to the other side, I can do it. I don't know. That's weird. I'll go. Look, if I pull it up to here, it works. It works. It's just here that I can't get this station out. Ah, now I got it. I got it. Whoa, and it went past the station. Well, all right. Even with Anarchy on, I couldn't get it to work before. Now it works. I wanted to test something that I kind of saw you could do, but I'm not sure if it's like this. Make some underground paths to connect one station to another. Is it possible to do that? Even if it can't be seen, right? It's actually not meant to be seen. There could be an underground connection from this station to this other station here. Would they connect? Because then it would be just one station, right? There would also be a tunnel connecting the two, like at the station here in Sao Paulo, Consolação, right? That divides the yellow line from the green line. It's a tunnel, and the stations are on different streets, correct? On different avenues. Well, let's see if this works. Then from here, we have our subway yard. So I think we could extend this here, build more stations on this side, and then I could even move this station a bit farther away. A little more this way, so both lines meet here and both meet here, right? Yeah? And then I would have to remove the station from the park, but I think that's okay because they ended up too close together, right? And then actually, I would put this station right here. I'll even put one right next to the other right here since we don't have any more stations, right? Even if it gets glitched inside the game, right? It might end up sideways, but on the surface, we won't see it. If it works, that's good enough for me. That's all that matters. And then I'm going to add another station over here, right? In the suburbs, before getting here to our train yard. So here in the train yard, I'll have to take the ground level and make this descent over here. Maybe already on a little curve, it would be interesting. Already bringing it here to Beleza Station. Now you just have to draw the lines, so a U-shaped line. It will start here, come over here, then go down to the side of our ferry point, then over here. And then it will connect here with the train. And then it will continue its path all the way here to the suburbs. And then, after that, we take the way back. I put it on the wrong platform here, I put it on the other one. How does it find its way from one platform to another here? Actually, this is where it has to stop. All right, so we have this line here, starting from here, coming down to here, and then going up again. And then there's this east-west one as well, which we're going to start in this suburb over here. Then come over here to the bus terminal. So let's put it here, then we're going to come to this station. Here it doesn't find it, here it's not finding it, so hold on. I'm gonna move it a little more to the side, separate it from this one. Let's see if it understands. Here it understood. And then after the integration with the station, we pull it over here and then there's the last station, the Stadium 1. And then after that, you just do the return route. All right, the two lines that were inaugurated, I'm going to start them. I'm also going to make both of them free and let's see how much they'll be used. There's already a subway train leaving the garage here. I think it's having trouble getting out. Let's help. Let's connect this track here. Can the other line be served? I don't think so, right? Because we are, right? We only made access for this line here, north-south. We didn't make access for the other one. So I'm gonna have to make a transfer tunnel here so the subway can switch lines, right? So it can come to this line here. There you go, the connection is done and the subway is already running. Man, it's really small, isn't it? Here the little subway has 4 cars, that's right. Seats 320. I think they should be able to change the fleet here. Oh, it's because I signed up, okay? I signed up for a mod that adds railway stuff, right? Including a cargo station that has exits on both sides, right? That was the one I used here. And then he also added several types of little subways here. 1 car, 3 cars, and 4. I'm going to leave this one with 4 cars so we can see how it behaves here in the city. There are already people getting off here. Let's see. There are already people going to the platform. Yes, there's this guy here. And here's a street with a lot of traffic, right? Look, the subway entrance is right here. And let's see what this situation is like down here. Man, the game simulation is really slow. This is so discouraging, okay? This here is the station, and we could see down there, but there were already people going down, so everything is working. Everything is so slow that the subway is still at the first station. He left the first station already with 43 passengers, and here is his route. He's leaving the station, so let's go. Let's see how it is. This is the use here. This is where the lines switch, right? So there are branches here, and now he's already at the next station where there are even some people waiting around. Out of 52, a few more have boarded. So now we have 81 passengers, and we're heading to the next station up ahead. Man, it's really, really laggy, man. Look at this, look at that, look at this freezing. Building a subway seems to make things worse. That happened in my other series too. The subway only appears once the city reaches a certain stage. It's very dense, right? We tend to link one thing to another. But it's not really the subway's fault, is it? And at this station here, is there communication between the two? With the platform I mentioned? Well, upstairs there are a lot of people, right? We already know that. Downstairs, not so much. Unfortunately, they're not talking to each other here, right? And what about the train station here, I wonder? I think this one here is the one that's going to be used the most, right? In fact, it's pretty crowded here. Let's take a look from a first-person view over there. Look how it's completely packed. And here the frames per second drops, right? Man, look at this sea of people. This is crazy. It's insane here. There are so many people. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode here with this view from Say Station. And I increased the frequency of trains, you see? This one is leaving, and it's not even leaving at full capacity. Look, none of the lines here are at 100% usage. This one is almost there, right? That's the line that goes to the Californian city. I'm going to set the fare to 0 here, and I'm going to add another train to run. All right then, that's it, my friends. I'm going to end the episode here. I want to hear your feedback. What do you expect for the rest of the series? Let me see if here on the side of our Chinese city, the frames per second is a little better. Yeah, it's better. It's a bit better, but it's still not great. I wanted to upgrade my machine here, but unfortunately I got fired from my job, right? So I can't count on my salary for that anymore. So I think it's going to take a little while. But anyway, that's life. Thank you for making it this far. At the end of the video, you're amazing and awesome. Just like our city council members whose names are appearing right now as a way of saying thank you. Anyway, all of this was possible thanks to you. So here's my warmest hug for you, whose name appears on the screen. And also for you who made it to the very end of the video. You are amazing. Alright, you deserve a motorcycle, a Harley Davidson here in Bahia de Barbosa. We're always together. Big hug. See you.